The first time I watched Saltburn, I came away from it filled with rage. I could not understand why so many people were raving about how good it is, and acting like the relationship between the two main characters is some sort of tragic love story. It's not a love story, and no, it's not an Eat the Rich movie. If anything, it's bigging up the upper class elite. Yes, there's satire, and the rich characters are vapid, vain, and selfish, but through the events of the story, they are ultimately portrayed in the most sympathetic light. This movie is trying to do way too much and doesn't really know what its supposed message is. It contradicts itself constantly, but not in a way that feels intentional. The only genuine praise I can give it is that it looks good, but the contents of the story and the character arcs are lacking. My original plan was to do an in-depth analysis of the film and a detailed play-by-play on why I think it's an awful movie. However, after rewatching it in preparation for this, I was left with more of a sense of apathy. There were 3 to 4 scenes which were particularly subversive that I now know to fast forward, and when you take that away, the only feeling I get is just, okay, that happened. So this will be a shorter event. Another thing is this film feels like it is so desperately trying to be something important that people deeply analysed. But it's so muddied and jumbled narratively and tonally that by the end you don't really feel like there's much substance there to really get into. It's glittery, Instagram filtered content and Tumblr gifs for horny teenage girls who love to obsess over attractive gay men. It's all shot on film, and as I said before, the cinematography is genuinely beautiful. And there are many inspired and creative shots, lots of mirror scenes with Ollie. I think they're trying to say there's more sides to him than meets the eye. However, a lot of these beautiful shots would often come directly before or after something really stupid had just happened.
How did you know it was me?
Signet ring.
God, you really do notice everything, don't you?
It feels like an overused phrase, but I think style over substance does really apply to Saltburn. Spoiler warning now if you care, but in this case you shouldn't, as it's not really a good movie. So, very brief synopsis. Saltburn is about a guy called Ollie, played by Barry Keoghan, who goes to Oxford in 2006. He becomes obsessed with the tall, handsome, rich kid called Felix Catton, played by Jacob Elordi. Ollie tells Felix all about his sad childhood, druggy mum, dead dad, and worst of all, he's a Scouser. Felix feels so bad for him, he invites him to come stay at his manor home over the summer called Saltburn. Ollie meets all the Cattons at their home, things happen, they all end up dead apart from Ollie, who now owns Saltburn, and dances around the house naked, celebrating, as you find out through a montage flashback that he orchestrated all of their deaths. Also, his whole sad little backstory he told Felix was a big fat lie. He's actually from a normal middle-class family, and both of his parents are alive and well. Okay, so positives. It's a completely original story, which got people excited to talk about a film which wasn't a Marvel or Star Wars Disney content production. The cinematography, music, production design, and most of the performances are all great. You can tell that a lot of thought went into how everything looks, making it sexy and alluring. The movie wants you to want to go to Saltburn and hang out with all these sexy rich people who want to sleep with you. And I have to give them props, it worked, as this movie was wildly popular. You now have rich kids dancing around their own manor homes on TikTok to murder on the dance floor, which is quite an ironic outcome if this movie was going for an Eat the Rich satire. Rosamund Pike and Richard E. Grant are hilarious whenever they're on screen.
I can wear my suit of armour, Elspeth.
Good idea, darling.
If the whole film was on the same wavelength as these two actors, I would probably love Saltburn. They seem like the only element which understood the assignment of satire.
Oh, I need to check with Robert to make sure that he's being extra vigilant with the hydrangeas.
Very wise, my love.
There's a lot of reasons why I should love this movie, and I really wanted to love it before I watched it. But because I think the plot and writing are so weak, it all just kind of comes to nothing but an empty facade. A big promise for a payoff that never comes to a satisfying conclusion. So, the negatives. If I were to sum up the biggest flaw with Saltburn, is that it is legitimately pretentious. And as I said before, it's trying so hard to be too many things that it all just kind of implodes on itself. The plot makes no sense, and Ollie's motivations to take down the Cattons feels paper thin by the end. I also feel like the gross out scenes were just added in to get people talking about the movie instead of being a necessary part of the story. Why does everyone talk with their faces so close to each other? Why does everyone always look at each other like they want to fuck? What fully grown man jerks off in a bath? Oh, that's a nice shot. Why are they running like that? Why are they sitting like that? Who are these people? that looks really cool. When I was a carer, if we had an unexpected death of someone in their 90s, the police would be notified and there would be an inquiry. Surely when Felix, however old he is, the Catton's only son and heir to Saltburn, suddenly tops it, there would be a post-mortem and toxicology report. And unless Ollie is Heisenberg, they're going to find some shit in his system and start asking questions. Also, Duncan, world's shittest head of house. Firstly, for in this scene, going up to the Lord of the Manor right after his son had died and asking for permission to have the gardener show the police through the maze. You wouldn't have to ask the gardeners, they would automatically do it. And even if they were lobotomized and didn't think to do this, the head of house would not be going up to the Lord of the Manor to ask for permission. I get that this was put in to add some dark comedy, but it just came across as stupid and annoyed me. And there is no way in hell Saltburn would just get signed over to a complete fucking outsider like Oliver Quick, when there's still going to be so many more other legitimate claims to the estate within the family. Also, Duncan felt like a big red herring where they were trying to build up suspense, but it went nowhere. Like so many other parts of the film, it just kind of trailed off like Emerald got bored with it or didn't know where to take it anymore. What would have been great is if at the end, when Ollie is prancing about to murder on the dance floor, he passes the suit of armour James Casson referenced earlier in the film and just fucking stabbed him with a sword. And had the final line be, "Everyone gets lost at Saltburn." I know it's cheesy, but it's better than the shit we got. Basically, Saltburn is full of pretty things, but that's about it. And that's about it for the video. If you enjoyed it, I hope to see you later. And yeah, see ya.